John Frost looked on the gathered crowd, now 3,000 strong. With heavy heart, his voice rang loud as he sang this loveless song. God is a guide from field, from wave, from plough, from anvil, and from loom. We come our country's rights to save and speak a tyrant faction's doom. We raise the watchword liberty. We will be free. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order. And bobbies took an oath to be our nation's warders, swearing that they would enforce Sir Robert's Rules of Order. To Newport rose a million friends who rallied each supporter to join this flood of working men against Robert's Rules of Order. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order. Like this, on the steps of Parliament, John Frost stood proud and tall. A hush fell on this great event as he told them one and all, depose the gentry and the crown, depose the House of Lords, or join the Queen in exile by Robert's Rules of Order. So Chartists, Luddites, Communists, recall each faithful martyr who died so you could have your new world Robert's Rules of Order. Say it loud, vote your favor, shout it high. All in favor, you say aye. Favor, aye, favor. Aye. A mandate of the people's cry. Favor, aye, favor. Aye. Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed, you say nay. Opposed, opposed. The motion carries anyway. Currents change and bring to us our tear-corrupted warder. In chains subdued and ill-abused, he's left with no supporters. Mobility's will can then proceed by our own rules of order. And we'll all cheer for country's sake when Robert's drawn in quarter. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament shall be reborn with Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay, it worked. Now,
we're back.
We are back, and what we're going to have to really learn, Mike and I have been doing a lot of tests, is not to talk over each other because we are really bad at that. And in person, it didn't cause audio problems, but it can here. So I'm going to explain what we're going to do because we're going to be torturing Mike Seebeck. Just an FYI, we have some few people in comments who said, William said, just subscribed. I want to learn, not interested in being a parliamentarian. This is what this show is for. And Ola, JJ, it's to learn. Not everyone is masochistic enough to want to be a parliamentarian. But if you're involved in anything in your local government or your homeowners association or whatever it might be, this is good stuff to know. And if you're just like the geeky sort, it's good to know. Exactly. And since it's been a while, I'll let Mike, after I say something, I'm going to let Mike give his origin story, but I'd like to give mine for a while. First, I've been drinking a little bit, as we do on the Cult of Roberts. If you're not drunk for the Cult of Roberts, you're not doing it right. Just so you know, I'm ready. I am more than ready. By the end of this show, I will not make any sense, but that might make Roberts more fun. And also, if you have young children, I know this is going to sound really weird. This is not safe for work. Let's just put it that way. I know Robert's Rules of Order should seem very safe for work. This show is not safe for work. That's what she said. But anyway, my origin story is I came into the Libertarian Party, and for a bunch of anarchists, we're not all anarchists, but you know what I mean, we really love our rules. I mean, we really fucking love our rules. Like, you know how people, might go in the bathroom and have a little, fun time with Playboy? We bring Robert's Rules of Order and we're like, This is our masturbatory material. As I said, this isn't safe for work. So I was all eager, and I was on bylaws committee in 2018 and walked into that meeting. Literally, it was a virtual meeting. I mean, figuratively, with Kim Roth and David Demarest and a few other people, with some people who knew Roberts. And we left that meeting feel like we just got the living shit kicked out of us because we did not know what we were doing. And I became determined at that point that I was going to learn this damn book because I was never going to let that happen to me again. And I know some people think I've joined the priesthood now because Mike and I used to very jokingly refer to the priesthood of Roberts, and it was the very few people in the party who knew Roberts and really used it against other people. Some people think I do that now. That's fine. They can think that if they want. My goal is that everybody be proficient in Roberts. So our goal here, and the reason why we say there are heretics in the temple, is it used to be the culture in this party that there was maybe 5 or 10 people that knew it really well, and they hoarded that knowledge. They hoarded it, and they beat everyone over the head with it. Our goal here is to become as knowledgeable as those 10, but not hoard it. It's kind of like when the English translation of the Bible went out. You know, the priesthood wanted it in Latin that nobody else could read so that they could tell everyone what God said. Well, we are the Martin Luther of Robert's Rules of Order. We want all of you to know it as well as we do. So that kind of was the genesis of this show and why we called it the cult and why we call ourselves the heretics, because we are the Martin Luthers of the Libertarian Party, spreading this knowledge to the unwashed masses. But that's my origin story. Mike, how did you get into this sort of thing? How did a nice guy like you end up in a place like this?
Well, it kind of is a similar story. Getting run over by parliamentary procedure in a couple of conventions by certain people who I will not name. And it's like, we got to do something about this and figure it out. And over the years, between when that happened and before we started this up, I was kind of learning it a little bit here and there. And then when we really kicked into this gear, really picked it up, a lot of this was to help Caryn get her RP. And now we're working on me getting mine. So there is a ulterior motive here, admittedly, to get our certifications sorted out. But at the same time, we just have a good time doing all this. It's considering it's been a long hiatus because of other things. So it's good to be back. And instead of me being in studio in Caryn basement, I'm actually now in Alabama. And as you can see, I got my own little, at least temporary arrangements sorted out. We're still dealing with some details here, but it's going to be back on the air. And I'll warn you, as she said, this is not safe for work, and we have no unsacred cow untipped. So,
and there's some questions in chat I want to ask, and some concerns I wanted to bring up to people. We do realize there's a bit of a differing quality here. Even though it was a joke that it's in my basement, it is in my basement. I actually do have a professional studio here with a mixing board and everything. Mike is at home and still working on getting his gear straightened out. So yes, my audio quality and video quality is a lot better. Over time, that will even out. But William Wells said, Mike, that you sound a little echoey. Maybe let's try the headphones with the speaker, and let's see if the listeners prefer that. This is a little bit of a test to see what's better. But, you know, as we do this, Mike's video and sound will start to become more comparable to mine. I recommended he get a Blue Yeti microphone. Excuse me, didn't mean to pound on it like I have, but we understand now. So talk, let's see.
How does this sound?
So
this sound, everybody?
So we'll have to see what everyone says. So what we're doing, so let's answer a couple questions.
One quick thing. There's like a 13-second delay between our live and what's showing up on Twitter.
Yeah.
So, the joys of lag.
And JJ says, Mike, you are echoing. And Skidoo says no change. So you want to know what I'm going to do. Hold on. We're going to try to solve all this. I'm eventually going to order a different set of microphones, but I think you might be echoing. And I think it's from my end, because I think my microphone is picking you up. So I'm going to put on headphones. I'm not going to be always using my Statue of Liberty headphones, but let's use them for this, and we'll see how it goes. And I'll get a normal set. I've had trouble getting these to connect, so let's see if I can get them to connect. Crap, I lost my cursor. Okay, let's see if this helps. Talk.
Yabba dabba dabba yabba dabba do.
That should be better. I know I look a little crazy with my Statue of Liberty ones. I'll get some normal headphones, but that should help a little because my microphone is now not picking up your voice. So I'm going to answer the questions. Okay.
What's the worry about looking crazy? I mean, let's face it. Here I am decked out in tie-dye. You're all in pink. What's the Statue of Liberty crown? It just fits right in.
And look,
with the vibe.
You don't even know. Look at the writing, Mike. Look at the my eyes are up here, Mike. Okay. So So some of the questions. Plymouth Rock asks, what does it mean to be a parliamentarian? It means that you're someone who has a certain level of expertise in a parliamentary authority, and a parliamentary authority are rules to run meetings. What we happen to focus on is Robert's Rules of Order, but there are other parliamentary authorities that Mike and I might get into later on, such as the American Institute of Parliamentarian Standard Code, otherwise known as Sturgis and Sturgis. Okay, let's see. How do you get a certification?
With the bike rally.
Mike, why don't you answer this one?
Okay. Well, you get the certification by finding the book, which is, in this case, Robert's Rules 12th edition, and study the crap out of it. The National Association of Parliamentarians does have a membership and an entrance exam, which is not too difficult. And then once you're in for that, you can study up, access to all their forums to learn about different things, different online lessons and such, and then they periodically hold certification exams. And the next one coming up is at the end of July, which is the one I'm trying to work to take here, which is why we're here. So Caryn Ann's already done that. She did hers through a very tedious process last year. And tedious, I think, is an understatement.
2 years now.
It was insane. It was insane.
Two to 3 years now.
Forever to do things. Yeah.
I actually got my certification twice. I got it twice because they went to this online Schoology program, which sucked so bad. But apparently I got awarded a certification through that. But while I was impatient for that, I just went and took the legacy exam and got certified through that. So I got it twice. I really still think, if anyone from NAP is listening, that I'm owed a refund for that Schoology one. That was a freaking nightmare, but whatever. So Mike is now studying.
So you're double certified.
Certifiable. And everyone said that me putting on headphones helped with the echo. So I'm gonna order a small, less obtrusive set of headphones rather than the spikes. So what we're doing is studying the best we can, or I'm helping Mike study the best he can for this new exam. I have no idea what this new exam is like because this is yet a third iteration, which is different than the first two I went through. But what helped me was studying for what's called the legacy exam. Now, the legacy exam is based upon an older edition of Roberts, which is, I'm going to hold it up here, the 11th edition. The new version is the 12th edition, and it's got a light like cream color cover, but there's not that many changes, in my opinion, in the newer edition, except for the citation method. The new version cites things like a deposition transcript. If you're in law, you'll understand what I'll mean. It'll be page number and line number. The new version cites it like the Bible, chapter and verse, which of course is much more appropriate for the cult. But since the Legacy Exam Guide, which I have right here, which I studied from, cites to the 11th, we're going to be using the 11th. I'm sure JJ will tell us in chat if anything changed between the 11th and the 12th. Because we had to do a little bit of an intro to this one, we're probably going to go to an hour from now, but in general, I think try to keep these maybe around an hour and a half rather than the 4-hour marathons we used to do. So this is the way it's going to go. I'm going to ask Mike a question. I'm going to give him the multiple choice and he's going to answer it. And then we're going to look at what the right answer is and talk about it. And that way it's not boring for you guys with me just quizzing him. We're going to talk about why the answer that was given is the right answer. And please feel free to put in chat what you think the right answer is, because we want you guys to learn at the same time. Believe it or not, some really interesting discussions break out. So you ready for the first one, Mike? I gotta get my old lady glasses on, but are you ready?
Almost. Just to add to that, though, our past shows when we were doing this, we would take the they used to have a question a day calendar that we would work questions off of and go back and forth between the two of us doing exactly that style of discussion. So yeah, exactly. So it's very similar to what we've done in the past, except this time instead of the back and forth, it's just throwing them at me. So for those of you who have been here before, this will seem a little familiar.
And it does help me too, because I have the answer key turned upside down, because as I'm asking you the questions, I'm not going to say anything out loud, but I'm going to be thinking in my head what I think the answer is too. And I'll be honest and tell you that if in my head I thought the wrong answer, because you and I both have been so busy with convention, I think we've both gotten a little bit rusty. I mean, I know I've gotten rusty.
You're not going to cheat.
Timothy Perkins, I gotta put this comment up. Timothy Perkins says, what is broken in us that this is entertainment? There is something very broken.
If you can make comedy out of something as dry as parliamentary procedure, that's not a question of broken society. That's a question of creativity.
But I'm known for this. The joke was when I used to do a theology podcast. So I've been a podcaster a really, really long time. I've been doing, not this topic, but I've been podcasting like 15, 16 years now. I know this isn't a podcast, but it's the same sort of thing. And my original podcast used to be on eschatology, which is the Christian study of the end of the world. And it was hilarious. If I can make the end of the world fucking hilarious, I can make Robert's Rules of Order filthy. That's kind of like my goal. So here we go.
That's what she said.
The boom chaka la la version of Robert's. Okay, so here we go. And you're going to recognize these questions, Mike, because the questions on the calendar were taken directly from this. So we've been through some of these before. So you're going to recognize this one.
You're assuming that I've cured my damnesia.
This is one that I always got wrong. By the way, the very first question is one I always got wrong. Which of the following are classified as secondary motions? Sounds easy, right? Okay, A, original main motions. B,
no.
Incidental motions. C, incidental main motions. D, motions that bring a question again before the assembly.
Okay, it's definitely not original main motions. because those are by definition primary motions. Incidental mains are also main motions in their own way. So that leaves B, which was, again?
Just incidental motions.
And then D was?
Motions that bring a question again before the assembly. So bring back motions.
I'm going to go with B because I think motions to bring back are of a different variety than a secondary.
Let's see. I think you're right. I think it's the same thing, but I screwed it up before. You are correct. So let's talk. Let's talk, though. JJ knows that this is the topic I hate the most, which is classifications of motions. But I'm getting much better at it. Can you define what an incidental motion is?
Is that for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hell. Reading on
I know,
this,
we both suck at this.
Well, no. Reading on this, I came across a very good differentiation, and now I can't remember for the life of me what that differentiation was. A main motion is about an action, and an incidental pertains to the assembly, if I remember correctly. It's close to that.
We don't actually have the page numbers, but let's look up. Here's the way I would define it. An incidental motion is something that is concurrent with, that's incidental. I don't like being recursive and using the word in the definition, like what is a woman. An incidental motion is something that has to do with business that's already before the assembly, while an original main motion is bringing something new. And
that's it.
And an incidental motion as a secondary motion has to pertain to a main motion that's already before the assembly. But there can be incidental main motions. Like a motion for recess, I think, is an incidental main motion.
It is.
So
Page 101.
Okay, well, and the 11th?
Yes.
So I think I understand them now. And a bring back is a main motion. It's not an incidental motion because it's business that's already been disposed of. Yeah, an incidental main motion is a main motion that is incidental to or relates to the business of the assembly. So we are both right, or it's past or future action. So a bring back motion would be an incidental main motion. Am I correct, JJ? A bring back motion would be an incidental main motion? Do you agree? So like a motion to rescind, that would be an incidental main motion, wouldn't it?
I hadn't gotten back to the bring backs in most recent studies, so I'm not sure.
JJ, would a motion to rescind be an incidental main motion? Let's look up rescind.
Hang on.
Like the motion to remove me, I bring everything back to that, don't I? Because I'm a salty bitch. That was an incidental main motion because it was incidental to a past election. JJ said in most cases, but not all. Okay. So
that's always the answer in Roberts.
Okay, well, that's good enough for me. We don't need to look. So a bring back motion is usually a incidental main motion. So that's kind of a tricky question because it said incidental main motions and then D was a subclass of an incidental main motion. All right, so you're 1 for 1. Are you keeping score? You should be keeping score.
I'm not.
Okay. You're not? Well, I'm going to.
The whiteboard's there.
I don't have it right here, and that whiteboard still shows me beating you, which I should go get it so that I can rub it in your face. But you got one right, so I'm keeping a little column here. In my pink pen, you got one right. Okay, B, not B, 2. You ready? Oh, so JJ said rescind is, but a motion to take from the table would not be. Of course, because there's a main motion already pending, and that's what you're taking from the table. A motion to take from the table would just be an incidental motion. It wouldn't be an incidental main motion.
Right, because it's not business incident. It's not incidental to business. It's part of the business. It's already
And
there.
right, that's already there. Correct. Okay.
Yeah, the take from the table is attached to a previous motion, which is what put it there in the first place. Therefore, it's tied to that. Therefore, it's not incidental.
Well, this brings another question, though. See how these lead into rabbit trails? Can you move to put on the table? And I think the answer is yes. Oh, yeah, JJ says yes, it's a bring back motion. But it's a bring back, I get it. It's a bring back motion that's not an incidental main motion. Okay, got it. I'm glad we have JJ here to keep us on the straight and narrow. Now I forgot my question. Can you move to lay on the table an incidental main motion? I think you can.
I don't know why you couldn't.
Yeah, okay. It just dawned on me. You know how I do these weird things. So, number 2.
Yeah.
JJ has to admit we're both getting better at classification of motions, because we both really sucked at it at the beginning. I sucked worse than you did, but we both kind of sucked at it.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. Still suck at them.
But remember,
better,
this whole section is about classification of motions, so this is going to be a difficult section for all of us. Hey, Kumbaya Libertarian hasn't been on the stream for a while. She asked, she thought everything could be laid on the table. Is that true? Can everything be laid on the table? I think perhaps
I wish I
correct.
had my cheat sheet on me.
You want to know why I think so? Because let's go off on this rabbit trail of laying on the table. Boom, chaka-la-la. Let's go on this rabbit trail. In my 10 years in the party, I think I have only seen a legitimate motion to lay on the table maybe 3 times. Most times, what people mean when they say I want to table this, which is just sloppy ghetto RONR ghetto language, normally what they mean is they want to postpone definitely, or perhaps indefinitely, but usually what they mean is they want to postpone definitely, and instead they say table. That is not the correct use of a motion to lay on the table. Hopefully we'll get into that at another time, but just FYI, people look that up. JJ said privilege motions could not be laid on the table. And then he asked whether it's lane. Who cares? Laid, lane. I hate that part of the English language. It sucks and it needs to die in a fire. Okay.
So look it up real fast. In page 210, it does yield to all privileged motions, and motions incidental to itself, takes precedent over all main motions and over all subsidiaries and over any incidental motions that are pending. It does allow it to immediately halt consideration of a question regardless of debate or not. But it must be seconded, is not debatable, so go directly to the vote, and if it passes, then, well, you set it aside and go on to the next thing.
And Kumbaya says that they, in Texas, have laid on the table a few things correctly, thanks to John Wilford. Because, yeah, John Wilford would know that. But most times, it's incorrect. And let me give you a good predictor. You know how generally, I'm going to make fun of myself now, generally when you see a pink hair, you're looking at a barking moonbat. And it's funny because Kumbaya Libertarian is in chat, and she's a purple hair. And normally when you see a purple hair, you're looking at a barking moonbat. But she and I are both exceptions. Normally, when you hear say someone, I am getting drunk. When you hear someone say, I motion to, which makes me die inside, they are the same people who will use lay on the table incorrectly. I get the Forrest Whitaker eye twitch every time I hear someone say I motion to. I want to die. Or when I hear simple majority. You know how much that kills me. When I hear simple majority, I just want to go, what does that mean? What does that mean?
What's a complex majority?
Yeah. Or what's the difference from majority? Don't add a word if you're not meaning it to mean something different than it would mean without that word attached. That's how you create ambiguities in your bylaws. Okay, number 2. Subsidiary. This is all about classifications of motions, so this is going to be painful for both of us. Subsidiary, privileged, and incidental motions are, A. Oh God, I got this one wrong every time too. A. Ranking motions. B. Privileged motions. C. Secondary motions. Or D. Pending motions.
Okay, it's definitely not B, but reread the rest of it.
Okay, you want me to read the question again too?
Yes, please.
Oh my God,
Yes.
Timothy Perkins, let me just put this on the screen. You're gonna die. Everyone's gonna die a little inside. I would like to motion to take a point of personal privilege to ask the chair to ask the parliamentarian the proper form for this motion. I love it. Thanks.
It's a long way of saying. It's a long way of saying point of parliamentary procedure.
Here we go. Subsidiary, privileged, and incidental motions are.
Excuse me.
Ranking motions. B. Privileged motions. C. Secondary motions. D. Pending motions.
Okay, it's definitely not privileged, and it's definitely not pending. Because everything, once they're made, is pending. Which leaves ranking, or what was C again?
Secondary. I'm looking to see if I'm right.
And it was incidentals. What were the 3 categories in the original question?
Subsidiary, privileged, and incidental.
Not secondary, so I'm going to go with ranked. Ranked.
Okay. This is one you and I have always gotten wrong, and you got it wrong again. And in my head, I got it wrong too. It's secondary motions.
What?
That does not seem right to me. We argued this before. So it says page 59, lines 4 through 6.
Hang on.
Because an incidental main motion would not be a secondary motion. But maybe because it just said incidental instead of incidental main.
Yeah, it classifies, it says the following. 1, main motions, A, original main motions, B, incidentals, and then it goes into secondary motions of 2, subsidiary, 3, privileged, and 4, incidental, and then 5, motions that bring a question again. It's right at the top of the page.
So okay, got it. That's what was screwing us up, is because we were thinking of incidental main motions.
Well, not only that, but if subsidiary, all those subsidiaries, privileged, and incidentals do have a ranking to them by definition.
But I guess that's not really a category.
3 categories, but within themselves too.
I guess what they're. Remember what JJ had said to God He keeps telling us to I haven't gotten the current national parliamentarian, so I can't read it because I haven't gotten it. Unless you're talking about the last one, which maybe I didn't finish reading. I don't remember. Remember
Not sure
what
which one you're
JJ
referring
said
to either.
before? What is the best answer? Because we've argued a lot of times that a couple of them are correct, and that's kind of what we're doing here, saying they are ranked.
Yeah.
But what's the better answer? Okay.
I think April wrote that question.
Yeah, definitely. April definitely wrote that question. Okay. 3. Incidental motions. God, I hate this section. This is all this whole section is all about that shit. Okay.
How many questions are there?
Okay, you're gonna get this right because, well, I shouldn't hex you.
Shut up! You're jinxing me.
So you got 2.
You're jinxing
Oh no,
me.
you did. Oh wait, hold on. You got one wrong. I fucked up already. Let me put this away. So you've gotten one right, and you've gotten one wrong. Okay. 3. Incidental motions. A. Are classified as secondary motions. B. Are debatable. C. Are incidental to immediately pending motions only. D. Have an assigned position in the order of precedence.
Okay, we know the first one, A, is correct because we just said that.
We just said that.
Yeah. B was what again?
Are debatable.
I'm not sure about that one way or the other. What's C?
Are incidental to immediately pending motions only.
The only part makes it that one not true. D.
Have an assigned
Let's see.
position in the order of precedence.
Well, they are assigned an order of in the precedence. I'm trying to
Are
remember
they?
whether it's how fixed that is. I believe there is. Because each incidental motion yields to some stuff and it takes precedence over others. That's the case for almost all the secondary motions that aren't privileged. And I say that just because
JJ's
I remember
having a
looking through
conniption.
that, making a
Can you
cheat
see
sheet.
the comments?
I cannot.
You can't
Oh,
see
wait
the
a minute. Maybe I
comments?
can. Hold on. Maybe I can. A little blurb over here I didn't see before. Okay.
He's having an aneurysm.
Read the current NP spring 2024. Okay. I'm not sure where I put mine, but if I have it, so
I don't think I have it.
if I do, I don't know where I put it. But I'm sticking with A because I know A is correct,
And you are correct.
regardless.
I don't know
Yeah.
why any of the others aren't. We're going to leave it alone because it only refers back to what we already just read. So we're
Just like
really
that,
just going to, yeah. All right, so now we're moving on a bit. 4. So you got that one right. You got to remind me to write this down, particularly as I drink the rest of this bottle. Which of the following...
There you go, cheat again. Yeah.
I'm hungry. Where's Wayne? We need a pizza, but he can't order you a pizza. I'm super hungry.
I've got beer, cheese, and cashews here. I'll be all right.
I don't. Wayne!
Pizza.
Okay. Which of the... Okay, 4. Which of the following is a secondary motion?
Okay.
A. Rescind. B. Limit or extend the limits of debate. I didn't know rescind got you that worked up.
JJ. Yeah. Keep going.
C. Ratify. D. Discharge a committee.
Give me the 4 choices again.
Okay, and I'm going to read the question again for the studio audience. Which of the following is a secondary motion? A, rescind. B, limit or extend limits of debate. C, ratify. And you're going to be having a lot of fun with ratification. You're going to be living with ratification. D, discharge a committee.
I want to go with limit or extend limits of debate.
Okay, let's see. 4. I think you're correct, but I haven't looked yet. Yes, that's definitely a secondary motion because you have to have a debate already going before you can limit or extend limits.
Yeah, one of the things I've been doing is that as I'm walking through Roberts, I actually made up a cheat sheet of my own where it just goes through and it lists the different motions by type and by precedence, just so I can keep them straight in my own head. And I actually had a picture of that in my head when this question popped up.
I just do it by like brute memorization. I don't have any kinds of cheat sheets of shit. I probably should, but I don't.
Well, in this day and age, the big thing, and I just gave CompTIA and Peterson View a complete ass bitching over this, is that it's not what you know, it's how do you know how to get to the information is what matters anymore these days.
That reminds me of something I used to say when I was younger. Why do I need to know my name? It's on my driver's license.
Exactly. It's not what you know.
I know
it's
where
how
to
you
find it. Okay.
The world is not a
5.
closed book exam.
5.
Mark it down.
See?
So
Perfect. All of these are so related that you should be getting these all right. Like, it's understandable to get one wrong, but like if you get, you know what we should do is we should start to jump around a little bit because these are so related. But I do think it's helping
me again.
I do think though it helps the audience quite a bit. Which of the following are secondary motions? A, motions that bring a question again before the assembly. B, privileged motions. C, incidental main motions. D, all of the above.
Okay. It ain't C, therefore it ain't D. We can eliminate those two immediately. Because we already know that an incidental main motion is not a secondary. So A was what again?
Motions that bring a question again before the assembly.
And then B was?
Privileged.
And these are secondaries.
Yes.
Right? I'm going to go privileged.
Why?
Because a privilege is a secondary motion, according to the table we were just looking at a few minutes ago.
Was it? I don't remember. You are correct. But how is that not a main motion? I don't get it. Let's look at that again. 59, it gives line 6, which is, I think, what we were just looking at. I don't understand.
Right, subsidiary and incidental.
How is that secondary, though? You can't have a privileged main motion? Like,
no, because a privileged one is to interrupts business, and a main motion is when no business is pending.
well, let me ask you something. Motion to adjourn.
That one can go either way.
Boom, checka, wow, wow.
Well, seriously, we had that very question pop up at the Alabama convention. A motion was made to adjourn, but at the time there was a motion pending regarding a bylaws amendment, and at the time, and I was the parliamentarian for the convention as well as a delegate, I had stepped off the floor, and I came right back in right as this motion was made. And as I'm walking back up to the dais, I pointed out point of order that you cannot have a motion to adjourn while a business matter is still pending. And I promptly rattled off the specific citation. I rattled off the specific citation, and it's like, that's exactly what it was. And Sam looked it up, and it's like, yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Okay, but I think you can adjourn when business is pending.
You can't.
Let's look that up.
That one I am very sure about.
Let's look that up. Because I think that's tricky. Adjourn. Well, I was looking at the table. So what page did you say?
233.
233?
233. 233. Line 17.
What line?
17.
That doesn't say anything about it not being in order when business is going.
Go to the next page.
Okay.
I know what's in here. Yeah. Down on 234, line 27.
Under any of the conditions, one through three, a motion to. I know, but it says a motion to adjourn at or to a future time is always out of order when business is pending, and that wasn't a motion to adjourn, it was a motion to dissolve the assembly, right, at the convention?
They did. No, they did not move to adjourn sine die. They just moved to adjourn.
Okay.
Now, that may have been the intended sine die, but that's not what they said.
Okay. Because you can do that. Adjourn at or to, and any motion to adjourn at all is out of order while business is pending, so you have to wait.
Yeah. Any motion to adjourn at all is out of order while business is pending under either conditions 2 or 3, and 3 is when the effect of the motion to adjourn, if adopted, would be dissolve the assembly with no provision for another meeting, which is a sine die.
But you said it wasn't a sine die.
They moved just to adjourn, but it was being treated as if it were a sine die.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Because it was like, yeah.
I'm going to see what JJ has to say here.
Moral of that story is know the difference between adjourning and adjourning sine die when you're making the motions.
But Timothy says he's been told a motion to adjourn is always in order.
Not necessarily.
Okay. That's always
it's one of those weird ones because it does go both ways, you know.
JJ says it would not have to be stated as sine die. Is that because there was, like, you didn't have the hall for the second day, so it in effect is by necessity sine die?
There was about an hour left in the convention for a hard stop anyway.
Okay, that one is puzzling me a little bit. And that's because I'm hungry.
The sine die was implied even if it wasn't stated.
Okay. Okay, speaking of implied rather than stated, can I rant? Do I have permission?
Ready to call Wayne to get a pizza?
Oh no, that'll be a different rant.
I can call him if you want me to.
Oh, that would be funny. See, I don't have my phone right now. Hold on one second. I want to show you guys something if I can find it. I might not be able to find it. Okay, yeah. Let me download this because this is freaking great, and anyone who was at our last convention will laugh their ass off at this. So, let me go back. I want to pull up a meme because memes are life. Tim?
What was this phone call?
There's the meme I posted.
Yep. Okay, he's not answering the phone. What the hell?
Where is he? You're going to have to keep trying. I want something to eat. Okay, well, we're going to move up. I heard you got his voicemail.
Yeah. I'm going to try again.
Okay. Number 6. Before any other business can be brought up, a motion must be disposed of with the exception of. So this is the exception.
Okay, wait a minute. Whoa. Start that over, please.
Wayne!
I wasn't multitasking the way I need to.
Well, you're a man. Men can't multitask. I'm woman-splaining.
Well, it depends on what we're doing.
Boom, chugga, wow, wow.
Wow.
Before any other business can be brought up. So before you can do anything else, a motion must be disposed of. With the exception of. Ready? You got it? You look lost. A.
No, I'm just
certain privileged motions. B. Incidental main motions. C. The motion to rescind or amend something previously adopted. D. Motions that bring a question again before the assembly.
A. Privileged motions.
Yeah, that's what I think too. And we were on number 6A. Yes. And why is that?
Because privileged motions have practically everything else, override practically everything else.
It just says certain privileged motions. So not all privileged motions. So which privileged motions would not?
Adjourn, we just mentioned that one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You just brought up one, adjourn. But let's look up. It's 59. As you can tell, we seem to be sticking on page 59, lines 18 through 23. Let's see what other ones there are.
59, dude.
But I'm like seriously hungry. Like I cannot even describe to you how hungry I am right now. 59, 18 through 23.
Oh, it's in italics even.
But it doesn't say what certain ones. It just says the same thing as the question.
Except certain matters called privileged questions.
That isn't the same thing, though.
No, it's not. That's not what the question said.
Okay, we're just going to ignore that. We're going to put that aside for a second. You brought up one. The motion to adjourn. Okay. 7. Secondary motions.
Hang on. Did you write it down?
No. I did now, though. Okay, 7.
Calling Wayne if you don't write them down.
I'm hungry. You won't like me when I'm hungry. I'm getting hangry.
I have to call Uber Eats from here to have them deliver something.
Timothy has a question. Which privileged motions are considered business?
With or without lube.
All privileged motions are considered business, I think.
Yeah. That's what JJ says in chat.
Okay. I mean, I would think so, because the only thing that can come up during business is business. I mean, JJ might have a different explanation, but that would be my explanation. Secondary motions. You ready, Colin? Mike?
1 second. 1 second.
What are you doing?
I'm texting your husband.
Oh, okay. Good, because are you telling him I'm getting hangry?
Yes.
Okay. Tell him if he doesn't bring me food, he's going to have to bring me out to eat somewhere, because I'm fucking hungry. And I think doing the rest of DC Minutes is out for... Oh, I know. Before I brought that meme up. Speaking of... What? Okay. Speaking of... That sine die can be implied rather than outright stated. I can't give you the page and citation now. JJ probably can. But there's a spot in Roberts that talks about you treat things as what they are rather than what they're called, probably incorrectly by somebody. So like the highest...
Like
what?
Isn't it like the spirit of the bylaws versus the letter?
No, not really. For instance, in New York, their bylaws are called their rules, when normally rules would be of a lower precedent than bylaws. But that's just what they call their bylaws. So bylaws are bylaws no matter what you call them. They're the bylaws.
Because in New York, they can't... It's because you can't say bylaws with a New York accent, but you can say rules.
Bylaw. No, you can't. Rule. How do you say either of them?
Rules.
Rules?
Not
Rules?
bylaws.
I think you could say them both, but anyway, so you look at the intention of the item and you treat it as what it is rather than what it's called. So when I'm doing these minutes, maybe you won't know as much because you were so busy with the tellers, but Timothy and others will feel my pain. Normally you would record in the minutes every point of order, as well as every ruling and its reasoning. However, for some reason, our crack-smoking delegates thought that everything was a point of order. They called everything a point of order. If I were to record everything that they called a point of order as a point of order, these motions would be incomprehensible. So I listened to what they said, because most things that the delegates were calling a point of order were in fact requests for information or points of parliamentary inquiry. They were not points of order, and I am not recording them in the minutes, because you do not record requests for information or points of parliamentary inquiry in the minutes. The things that were actually points of order, I'm recording in the minutes. But part of the problem is there were also 20 flying points of order at one time, and multiple of them which were valid points of order, but they just kind of got skipped over with no ruling. So it's kind of like, here's where things are going to get filthy. It's kind of like, you get almost there, but you don't nut. You know what I mean?
I don't even know what you're going to say, and I'm going, oh boy.
There's no resolution. You're like, yes, oh, damn. There's no resolution.
The term you're looking for is edging.
Exactly. We were edging that whole convention.
Wayne's best message, he said that he's trying to get it ordered.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly. I think that's why I'm so frustrated by this convention. It was an extended, non-consensual edging session.
We just discovered the secret to national conventions and how to cope with them.
Oh, my God. Oh, JJ was
I'll
there.
tell you-
Timothy was there. Do you agree with me or do you not? Because let me tell you, I did not realize how bad that convention was until I listened back
when
to
you
it.
go back in the recording, yes. I'll tell
Because
you what,
I couldn't hear at all. So I was concentrating really badly on trying to get the motions right on the screen. So like a lot of the funny business went past me. But listening back to it, I am like,
that's probably a good thing.
I am horrified at how bad that convention was. I literally
the acoustics on the stage were terrible. And I'll tell you one that made me almost lose my shit, because I was wandering when I was doing stuff, but I was still kind of listening in on what was going on. There was at one point somebody made a motion to suspend the rules. Now, suspending the rules is an undebatable motion by definition.
Oh, they debated it constantly.
But they used points of information and points of order to debate the thing, and then somebody, and I'm like, first of all, that's not debate. Second of all, somebody tried to call the question. I'm like, you can't call the question on an undebatable motion because
I didn't record those either.
Is ending debate.
I didn't record those either. I'm seriously, I didn't.
I was heading for a microphone to complain about that one because, like, no, you can't do that.
Okay, you want to laugh? This should never have to be in a set of minutes. Like literally, I might not be able to. I actually might not be able to pull it up. I thought I had the minutes in my drive here. Give me 1 second. Nope. I'm gonna ad-lib it. There's an introductory little paragraph at the beginning of the minutes that say, due to the flying incorrectly used parliamentary terms, the secretary made a judgment. Like, it was just crazy. It was just absolutely insane. And JJ said, you're pretty much correct. Timothy said, our convention was technically the worst orgy. If anyone ever read A Brave New World, do you remember Orgy Porgy? Where the protagonist of the story kept almost getting paired up with the really ugly chick? That's kind of like what it was. You went to an orgy expecting a good time and you ended up with the ugliest chick in the place.
Describes my dating life as a teenager.
Oh my God. Okay, so we're going to continue now. 7. And I did put the last one down, didn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I missed something. Nope, I missed one. Okay, you got another one correct. 7. Secondary motions. A. Cannot be made and considered when a main motion is pending. B. Cannot be debated or amended. C. Must be acted upon or disposed of before direct consideration of the main question can be continued. D. Require a majority vote.
That's an easy one. C.
Which one? C. Must
C.
be acted upon or disposed of before direct consideration of main question can be continued.
Yes.
C. I think you're wrong. I think it's D. I think it requires a majority vote. Let's see who's right. 7. You're correct. I'm wrong.
Secondaries include the ability to suspend the rules, which is a 2/3.
Is that a secondary motion? It can be a main motion.
It can be, but it still takes 2/3 when it's a secondary too.
Okay. Got it. You got it right. I got it wrong. But we're only keeping score on you, baby doll.
Hey, I'm getting better at this.
Did Wayne say he was ordering a pizza?
He did.
Okay. I was hoping he was
That
cooking
was
something.
about 5 minutes ago.
Ask him if he ordered it yet.
He said he's trying to, but that was 5 minutes ago.
What is trying to? It's not that difficult. Hold on.
It's a guy thing.
Hold on.
You wouldn't understand.
Hold on. You either try. No, you either do or you do not. There is no try.
There we are.
8. When a secondary motion is placed before the assembly, it, becomes the immediately pending question, which is A. B, becomes the pending question. C, must be voted on before another motion can be made. D is not debatable.
Secondary motion?
Yes.
So a secondary motion. Okay, so A becomes the main question. Is that what you said?
No, A is
Give me the
becomes
choices.
A becomes the immediately pending question. B
No.
becomes the pending question. C must be
Probably.
voted on before another motion can be made. D is
No.
not debatable.
No, it's definitely B.
I think it's A.
No. Read A again.
Becomes the immediately pending question.
That was B.
No, that was A.
Well,
A,
no,
B
read
was
read A
be-
and B again.
A becomes
Here
the
we go.
immediate. A becomes the immediately pending question. B becomes the pending question.
It's B because you can still amend, you can still have another question layered on top of it.
Let's see.
Remember how layering of things with
A?
commits versus postpone indefinitely and so on.
A becomes the immediately pending question.
I'm not sure that's true.
It is true. I'll explain why. Because it didn't say its status if then another motion is made. It said at the moment a secondary motion is made, such as an amendment to a main motion. What is its status? It is the immediately pending question. Now, someone can then amend the amendment, which then becomes the immediately pending question. But at the moment that the secondary motion is made, what is its status? It is the immediately pending question. If someone were to move to call the question, what would be called? That amendment would be called.
Well, then how do you? Well, now wait a minute. This is where I'm having trouble because you can have secondary motions adhere to a main motion, but then they get stuck to it when a different secondary motion comes into play.
It hasn't
Example,
come into
you could
play
have
yet,
motion
though.
to postpone indefinitely, but then a motion to commit before the postpone indefinitely is resolved.
But none of that. All it says is when a secondary motion is placed. So it means the minute it's placed. It didn't say nothing else could happen. It says what is its status the minute it's placed before the assembly. It becomes the immediately pending question.
Okay, I guess I can sort of see that.
Yeah. Now, it can lose that status by the making of another motion, which is what you're trying to say. So it's a status that can be loosed, but what is its status at that very moment? It is the immediately pending
I see
question.
the point.
Okay.
I see the point.
That was a trick question.
JJ makes a comment on there too. So
Yeah. Okay. 9. What statement is true? A. Incidental motions have an assigned position in the order of precedence of motions. B. More than one secondary motion may be pending at one time. C. There are 4 classes of secondary motions. D. There are 12 ranking motions.
Okay. C is definitely not true because there's only 3 categories of secondaries.
And we know that because of the whole page we just did.
Yeah, right. Okay, D was what again?
There are 12 ranking motions.
I don't think that's 12. I think it's either 11 or 13. I always get that number wrong.
You want to know what? I'm going to be the heretic now. I don't give a shit about that. I'm going to look, but I'm also going to tell you I don't give a shit about that. That's why JJ says I'll never
options. Yeah, and I don't have the cheat sheet cards in front of me either. So,
and I don't know where in the 11th that little chart of ranking motions is. It's really convenient in the 13th. I mean, in the 12th.
I think it's back in the grade pages, but anyway.
That's where it is in the 12th, but it's not in the 11th. I can't find it. Okay, A was incidental motions have an assigned position and the order of precedence of motions.
Okay, and then the B was
more than one secondary motion may be pending at a time.
Okay, that is definitely not the case because of what we just discussed previously. So A is the answer.
Okay, I think it's B.
Then that contradicts the previous question because as soon as the secondary motion is put, it becomes the pending question. You can't have 2 pending questions at the same time.
Yeah, you can.
Like what? That's a fundamental
motion to suspend the rules. Motion to suspend the rules and amend the agenda.
That's not technically two pending items.
Yes, it is.
It's bad form. It's a bad form for suspension of the rules. You can't divide that question, so it's not a double pending.
Yeah, it is. It's actually listed as an exception to the idea that you can only have one pending motion at a time. But let's look it up. And let's see what Mr. JJ has to say here.
First. Okay, what's the answer first?
Page 61. Lines.
What's the answer to the question?
Right. You might be right. Derp 9. What did you say? You said incidental motions, and I said B. And the answer is B. So let's look it up. 61 lines 4 through 6. 61. I can't count anymore. Alcohol makes me retarded. So 61 lines 4.
Okay, I got it here. Certain secondary motions also take precedence over others, so that it's possible for more than one secondary motion to be pending at a time to get the main motion. In such a case, the motion most recently stated by the chair among those is the immediately pending question.
And it went into a different direction. I get what it's saying. So you have a motion to amend, and then you have a motion to amend the amendment. So you have 2 secondary motions pending at the same time. They're both not immediately pending, but they're both pending.
That is the fundamental error they're making here, because on one hand they're saying immediately pending, but then they're saying multiple pending. You can't have both at the same time. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, you can.
Let me tell you.
No, top item in the stack is the only one open. That's just simple procedural
No, that's not true. Motion to.
Can you resolve the stack? Can you resolve the lower one first? No, you can't. Therefore, it's not pending until the top one is resolved.
It's still pending. It's just not immediately pending. And let me give you an example. When you call the question. Can you call the question on all pending questions?
Yes.
Right. So it is pending.
That's an application to the layers of the questions.
Right, because they're all pending. It's just one is immediately pending.
Yeah, you can't have questions on 2 different questions or votes on 2 different questions at the same time, right?
It didn't say that. It just said whether they can be pending.
If it's pending, you can have a vote on it. If it's not pending, you can't. Sorry, but that's just the sequence.
Oh, sorry, you just got that one wrong. I'm just saying. I agree with the answer there, because when you move to end debate, unless you qualify it, it's just only on the immediately pending question. But you can move to end debate on all pending questions, which would be the amendment to the amendment. It'd be the amendment to the amendment, and then the main motion. Now, you'd have to do it in that order, but they're all pending.
But you can't vote on them all at once.
It doesn't
right?
say that. It just asks if they're pending.
What does calling all previous questions do?
You go 1, 2, 3.
Exactly. You do not say all questions aye or nay on one vote. You have to take them
No,
one at a time.
it didn't say all in one vote.
No, the one that is pending is the one you're voting on.
Immediately pending.
The other ones may be there, but they're not pending at that
They're
point.
pending because they have to be decided.
Well, yeah, but they're not pending for a vote until the current one is decided. See, here's the problem. This is the problem they have, and this is why Roberts needs a system engineer to write some shit. Is because you cannot have one thing resolved.
Let's look up something here.
Until the previous is resolved.
You're going to have to reconcile yourself to this, Mr. Seebeck.
You can't do B before you do A. That's the problem. And B cannot be pending until A is fixed.
One is immediately pending. One is pending. Let's look up number 60. Immediately pending question. I think that's also what we just read, but let's see. Okay. If two motions, A and B, are related under rules of parliamentary procedure in such a way that motion B can be made while motion A is pending, and when stated by the chair can thus temporarily replace A as the immediately pending question, motion B takes precedence over motion A, and motion A yields to motion B. A secondary motion thus takes precedence over the main motion, and a main motion takes precedence over nothing and yields to all applicable secondary motions. So they're making a difference between pending and immediately pending.
And that's where they're making a mistake, because immediately pending and pending actually by definition are the same thing. They split the differential because they don't understand how structure organization of queues and stacks work.
Well, let's just put it this way.
The authors of Roberts never played D&D, and they need to.
We should get super drunk and play a game of D&D. We should get a bunch of us together. We should get a bunch of us together and like just play. Okay, it wasn't D&D. I forgot what it was called, but it was with Dale. I can't remember his last name, from Delaware. Super Christian guy, but I was trashed. And oh my God, he was such a sweetheart. I don't think he's involved in the LP anymore. But we played like a mini role-playing game. It wasn't D&D, but very similar. And my character, which I rolled, ended up being a unicorn. So he's like, what are you going to name your character? So I named my character Me So Horny. And I rolled for a certain amount of gold. And all I did was buy cocaine with it. So I was a coked up horny unicorn. It was fucking fantastic. And poor Dale, because it was such a pure, one of the most Christian men I've ever met. What a nice guy. So anyway, if you ever have me roll a unicorn, I'm definitely going to be Me So Horny again. I might not spend all my gold on coke again, though. Okay.
I understand what they're saying on the question. What I'm saying is that they have their terminology completely wrong.
Well, let's at least agree on this. You got to agree with what they said. No, agree is not the right word. You got to accept what they said to pass the test. I think we could both agree. We can agree on that. Okay.
And then we yell at them afterwards.
10. Are you ready? Oh, I'm going to get back. Well, not yet. we're not gonna discuss this on the show, but I'm waiting for an answer on something. Once I get that answer on that something I'm waiting for, I'll be back to participating on the Roberts Forum. I haven't been there for 2 reasons. One, I'm waiting for a question, that answer. And B, I was actually, I know I joked about it a lot, but it was actually pretty disturbing to me, the way my innocent question, and it's all your fault, on decredentialing turned into that huge conspiracy theory. Because it was such an innocent question. I just wanted to be able to assist you with an answer as chair of a committee. There was no great conspiracy there. And the way that blew up all over the place, like, that really fucked with me. Because there literally was no agenda in asking, and you know that because you were the one who asked me the question. It was so innocent. But I'm going to get back to that forum eventually, by the way. Okay.
Well, I've only been reading it rather than actually saying anything on there lately, just to catch up,
Well, there's one guy, I'm not going to mention the name, but Richard and JJ, and probably you will know. There's one guy on there that just annoys the living fuck out of me. And it's not any of the authorship team or anything. It's just a regular member. But annoys me so badly. I can't take it. Annoys me so badly. Like, this person definitely should be a libertarian. Because they are freaking more autistic than I am. That's the measure of autism, by the way, now. If you're more autistic than I am, like, you got issues, baby. You're used to me, Mike, but you know that I'm pretty fucking autistic.
I'm okay. Myself sometimes, but anyway.
Well, you're a libertarian. It goes without question, but I'm pretty fucking autistic. I mean, you know me better than most people know me.
I was ADHD before they knew what it was, so
All right, next. Oh no, 11 we're on. Oh yeah, I did mark that one down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna love this. Did you ask Wayne when he ordered the pizza?
I didn't, but I can.
You're such a typical man. Hold on, let's wait. Yeah, and JJ said the funny part was that we concluded that you couldn't decredential anyone. Richard Brown knows who we're talking about too. Yeah, it keeps me away from the forums, actually. I just get so annoyed. But
I think the gentleman in question's last name ends in a vowel. Let's put it that way.
No, maybe not. No, not the one I'm thinking of. The one I'm thinking of ends in a consonant.
Okay.
It's actually a gerund, I think, if I know my parts of speech correctly.
I always get gerunds wrong.
So do I. So I could be totally screwed up. Okay, next question. And we already started talking about this. The motion to lay on the table should be used to A, dispose of a main motion without bringing it to a vote. B, delay consideration of a question until a later specified time. Don't answer it yet because I want people in chat to answer this.
Yeah.
C, delay consideration of a question until a committee can report findings on the subject to the assembly. D, interrupt consideration of a main motion temporarily until a majority wishes to consider it again. And I don't want JJ or Richard to answer this. I want like normal people to answer this.
Okay, give me the second time.
So it's lay on the table should be used to A, dispose of a main motion without bringing it to a vote. B, delay consideration of a question until a later specified time. C, delay consideration of a question until a committee can report findings on the subject to the assembly. D, interrupt consideration of a main motion temporarily until a majority wishes to consider it again. I actually think all of these answers, except for one, kind of suck. I'm going to cheat and
B,
look at with it.
Read B off again.
Delay consideration of a question until a later specified time.
That is postponed to a certain time, so it's not that one. Give me C.
That's the one that really sucks. So we agree there. Which one did you want?
Give me C. C.
Delay consideration of a question until a committee can report findings on the subject to the assembly.
That's a motion to commit. So that's not that
Well, it's
one.
already been committed. I'm
What?
understanding
No.
that is already...
No, the motion was to lay on the table.
Okay, let me read C again. I'm not trying to steer you in a certain direction. I think this question is worded very badly. C, delay consideration of a question until a committee. I'm assuming the committee has already been appointed and has done its work. It just has yet to report. Can report findings on the subject to the assembly. It doesn't say that.
That's still not the answer.
D, interrupt
No,
consideration of a... I'm sorry?
I'll tell you why it's not C. Okay, if it's delaying until a committee can report, that means the motion to commit to has already occurred and passed, and they're waiting on a response. So because it's already been committed, the motion goes with the commit, and it can't be laid on the table.
Okay.
So anyway,
You're blending.
if
I
it
can't
was
see you anymore.
Here.
I'm joking with you.
I know I blend in. That's the point. But
I was fucking
what's
with
D
you.
again? What's D? After you quit laughing.
Because you moved, you took me serious. D, interrupt consideration of a main motion temporarily until a majority wishes to consider it again.
Well, it takes a majority to take from the table once you lay it on the table. Give me A one more time.
Dispose of a main motion without bringing it to a vote.
Okay, that could be true if it stayed laid on the table all the way through an adjournment, but not necessarily. So,
What if it stayed on
answer to the
the
question-
table all the way through an adjournment? Does that dispose of it?
if it's a sine die, yeah, it would dispose of it. It would fall. It would fall down.
Let's
as
say it's
unresolved-
not a
as
sine
unresolved.
die.
Then it would still stay on the table until either you sine die or your quarter ends.
Okay, the quarter ends is the important part. So it doesn't dispose of it unless some other stuff happens.
Right. So, if all that could be true, it doesn't necessarily be true. So I'm saying I'm going with D.
Yeah, D is correct. But I think this is worded really badly. Because you shouldn't actually lay on the table unless there's something urgent that needs to be taken up that interrupts it.
Right.
I mean, that's really
People
what
also-
laying the table should be for.
But people will use it as a means to just put the brakes on whatever the motion is and move on to other business too.
Right. It can dispose of a main motion without bringing it to a vote if the meeting is if the next meeting is more than a quarter away.
Yeah. Or a sine die
Right.
happens. Yeah.
Or sine die, right. Okay, so let me write this one down. You know what I should have been doing? I'm like doing these dumb little check marks rather than like, the normal way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, then you got 5 there. Okay. And then 1, 2, and then you got another one. Okay.
Hey, Gene.
Oh,
Hey,
Gene
Sylvia.
hasn't been here in a while. Hey, Gene, and
Yeah,
guess who
yeah.
else is here? Is Sylvia. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice to see both of you.
Has been working evening shifts lately, so that's why him popping in is kind of cool.
Yeah, I've started to see him on Twitter quite a bit too. When for a while, Gene, were you taking a break from Twitter? Because I hadn't seen anything in the longest time.
He did. Personal stuff going on that I know
yeah,
about.
I don't need to know any of that yet. Okay. All right, ready?
Yeah.
The motion
Nobody's
to
watched
amend.
Yet.
You haven't heard from him yet?
I asked him where. I said she asked where is it? He hasn't replied back.
Yeah, Richard Brown said exactly what I said, and I want to put this on the screen. The question is a bit misleading because the motion to lay on the table is supposed to be just to take care of something more pressing. Exactly. And JJ was being his typical JJ. I love you, JJ, but you and I disagree here, where he's like, urgency is in the eye of the beholder. Yes, that is true, but no, it's not true. I mean, it is true. There are some gray areas, but there are some non-gray areas. We got into this argument over the now disaffiliated, whether we disaffiliated them or they unaffiliated us, Spider-Man meme, old New Mexico party, which in the future, that just becomes really funny. Even though now it's only 2 years, it is still pretty hilarious. They disaffiliated from us, and we were like, no, you can't. We disaffiliate you.
Yeah, that's Lucchini for you. Sunquack has a good question in the chat.
What's that? How does the motion...
Says, how does it... Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you
had it. Go ahead.
No, you
Okay.
go. I'm drinking.
How does a motion on the table affect the rule we discussed about adjourn, sign, die? Well, if you adjourn, sign, die, and the motion is laying on the table, it's not an immediately pending question. Therefore, in relation to each other, the sign, die is still in order. And if it passes, then the motion on the table dies by definition.
It falls to the floor in the more traditional language.
It falls to the floor and gets trampled in the stampede for the exit. Yes.
And the reason...
Yawning, belching, hiccuping, or...
No, I was coughing
laughing?
still. I still got some chest issues going on. Shut up. You're my...
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about taking a drink.
Guys are always thinking about that. You don't fool me. You don't fool me for a second.
You're the one who said I know you better than most people. So you left it open-ended.
Oh my God. But the reason I wanted to bring up something that I joked about before, which some people may not know. Okay, don't tell me anything you can't tell me, Mike. But I am going to razz you about this. I do know, because they posted all over social media about it, that you have now received in, as the JC, that appeal.
Yeah, we have.
I know you have a certain period of time. I know you have a certain period of time to decide what to do with it. So that's why I was laughing that you're going to become best friends with Ratify. That's why I was making that joke.
Yeah.
But you didn't tell me you got that. They tweeted about it and put it all over Discord, because some people just don't know how to keep their mouth shut. Anyway.
Think of it. I need to make sure we actually look at that, because we're on the clock.
Yeah, you have 5 days to decide if it's defective or if you're going to hear it or whatever it might be. I have the same issue with the Colorado JC. We just got in a Colorado JC appeal today, and we've got 5 days, you know? But for anyone curious who didn't read on Twitter, everyone knows that Colorado made a resolution that they're not going to put our presidential candidate on the ballot. That resolution has been appealed to the Colorado JC. I am the chair of the Colorado JC, but I'm also the national secretary. So this is not required. So don't go running at people and poking at them and going, well, she did this. It is a personal decision that you have to make on your own self as to whether or not you can ethically and impartially make a decision. I have decided for myself that I cannot, that the conflict of interest between being National Secretary and LPCOJC was too great. And I am voluntarily recusing myself from that decision. But I don't want that to be a precedent for people to be pointing to, because there is no requirement that I recuse myself. My recusal is purely voluntary, based upon my own internal self-assessment. Oh, look. Oh, Wayne went and look at this. I
couldn't order a pizza.
You couldn't order a pizza?
I tried 7 different places. They were all closed.
They were closed. Okay, so you got me. What did you get me? McDonald's?
The place is closed on Father's Day? That's like a
That's
federal
crazy.
crime, isn't it?
Okay, but now I'm not Thank you. Now I'm not hangry anymore. Okay.
You're eating McDonald's junk food.
Are you ready?
No, to be fair, the recusal is the right call. And I'll say that just because, and I'd harp on this a lot about what hat people are wearing at a given time. And for people who aren't totally cognizant of that, it can be very easy to blur them. And in this case, while you probably could differentiate which hat you're wearing in these cases,
I couldn't.
Other people won't see it that way. But other people won't see it that way, and they'll raise hell over it, so it's smart to just step away from it. So, I believe it's the right call.
I actually slightly disagree with you. I think people recuse themselves way too often. But honestly, I took self-reflection, and I'm like, I can't. I literally can't. I think people recuse themselves way too often when they don't have to. But on this issue, I honestly could not separate the two issues. Way too emotionally invested.
You know how optics are these days, too. So, that
I don't give a shit.
in.
You also know that I don't give a shit about optics.
I know. Hey, look at me, do I?
I don't give a shit about optics. This was my personal ethics. Okay. Number 12.
I have to blind everybody with multiple colors.
And we are almost we're going on an hour and a half. I'd say let's go to an hour and 45 minutes and we'll be good. Is that good?
Take it to the top of the hour?
Well, no, that'd be like another 20 minutes, and I don't want to be sitting here stuffing a quarter pounder with cheese in my face. I can snack on fries, but
I've been munching on peanuts or cashews and cheese, so
it's different than a burger,
Well, we were doing
12.
pizza in the past. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
The motion to amend takes precedence over the motion to postpone to a certain time, A. If a motion to amend is pending. B. If it is a motion to amend the motion to postpone while it is immediately pending. C. Under no circumstances. D. If it is a privileged motion to amend. This is a tough one.
This is weird. Okay. First of all, I don't think amend is a privileged motion. That doesn't make any sense. So I think we can eliminate D. C was what again?
Under no circumstances.
And the original question stated,
the motion to amend takes precedence over the motion to postpone to a certain time,
You can amend the motion to postpone to a certain time by changing the time. So C is not true. So what is B?
If a motion to amend the motion to postpone, if it is a motion to amend the motion to postpone while it is immediately pending.
Okay, that's just what I just said. What's A?
If a motion to amend is pending.
I'm going with B. A doesn't make a lot of sense. The other two, I'm pretty sure, are wrong.
Yep, that's correct. It's kind of tricky, though.
It was. That one we had to literally walk through it.
Yep, that was tricky.
This is what we do all the time. Is we eliminate possibilities, reason through it to come up with the right answer. And if it's not the right answer, then we argue about it.
13.
In between munching on French fries and snacks and beer and all that stuff.
Now I'm getting a lot less hangry. Which of the 4 lowest ranking subsidiary motions may be undebatable?
Sylvia says, "Seat them all."
I am so triggered right now.
I'm just repeating the chat. Trust me, that was insane. Anyway,
did she say that? Oh, I'm not scrolling down. Let me. Oh my God, she did. Only one seat them all is pending. Oh my God, Sylvia, that is fucking hilarious. That was one of the most ridiculous.
You can make parliamentary jokes. It's possible.
You gotta admit, that was one of the most ridiculous things you've ever seen in your life. That was pathetic. Okay, 13. Which of the... I'm going to say it again, because her answer is always right, by the way.
We got interrupted.
Well, because Sylvia's right. When seat them all is pending, nothing else matters. Bylaws? What are bylaws over seat them all? 13. Which of the 4 lowest ranking subsidiary motions may be undebatable? A. Postpone indefinitely. B. Amend. C. Commit or refer.
Okay.
D. Postpone to a certain time.
Which one is undebatable?
Mm-hmm.
Postpone indefinitely.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's what I think. I'm saying yes before even looking. No. I think this is wrong.
What are they saying?
This has to be wrong. Let me look at the errata. I think this is wrong.
What are they saying?
JJ. It says B, amend. When is amend undebatable?
Debatable.
And it's giving me page 66, lines 5 through 7.
66. Okay, hang on. Because amend's back at page 130. 66 line what?
5 through 7. I need to get my glasses on.
Debate and amendment can be closed on a motion or series of motions that are debatable and amendable, or amendments can be closed on motions that can be amended but not debated. The 4 lowest ranking subsidiary motions can be debated, except that amend is undebatable when it is applied to an undebatable motion. But postpone indefinitely. Postpone indefinitely is debatable. Excuse me.
I thought that was undebatable.
No, it's on the standard characteristic 5 on postpone indefinitely. I was wrong.
So was I.
It's debatable. Unlike the case of other subsidiary motions, debate on the motion to postpone indefinitely can go fully into the merits of the main question, and that is a way for people to exploit it to get around the twice on a limitation on any given question in a day. It allows them to postpone indefinitely. They can move to postpone indefinitely to get past the 2-limit routine to keep talking about it, even though the motion may fail.
JJ has another example that happened at convention. You can amend a motion to recess, but you can't debate a motion to recess.
Only if the recess... Yeah, that's okay, because the recess would have a specific amount of time attached to it, yeah.
But is recess one of the 4 lowest?
I think it
Because
is.
this was specifically the 4 lowest ranking subsidiary emotions. and I
Recess
can't-
takes precedence over main. Hang on, I got it right here. Over subsidiary and incidentals.
Where's the
over
ranking
all privileged motions.
in 11th?
It's actually pretty high.
Right. It's not one of the 4 lowest.
Yeah.
So, so even though I agree that amend isn't debatable when applied to recess, the qualification here was the 4 lowest. And debate and recess isn't one of the 4 lowest.
Yeah. So, in any case, I was wrong. I thought it was postponed indefinitely. I forgot about that little loophole caveat thing. So, I got it wrong.
I should remember that because I did a motion to postpone indefinitely an emotion in the LNC. I remember talking with Adrian about it, and Adrian was like, "That's undebatable, right?" And I'm like, "No," and he's like, "Well, then I'm just going to move to end debate."
Yeah, because the post. Yeah, and I was reading about this. This came back to me. Is that the whole you're stuck with twice on a question in any given day, but the postpone indefinitely allows you to go around that and debate 2 more times.
Well, reconsider does too. When you move to reconsider, you can go into debate on the underlying motion.
Right, but you can't do that when the underlying motion is still pending because it's already had to be disposed of first for reconsider.
Right, it's been
Postpone
disposed
indefinitely can
of.
still be pending.
No,
Yeah,
but I'm just saying.
Definitely still pending.
Yes, but I'm just saying with a motion to reconsider, you can go into debate on the underlying motion.
Yes.
Okay. JJ said reread the
wrong.
question. Which of the 4 lowest ranking subsidiary motions may be undebatable? And recess wasn't one of them because the 4 lowest ranking ones are postpone indefinitely, amend, commit or refer, and postpone to a certain time. JJ, where in the 11th edition is that chart that shows the ranking? I can't find it. I know exactly where it's at in the 12th. I can't find it in the 11th. Okay, number 14. You guys are just going to have to... I'm starving. I am eating my quarter pounder with cheese, and you're just going to have to deal with it. This is going to be now Robert's Rules of Order mukbang edition. That actually would be fun. You want to do a mukbang?
Mukbang?
You don't know what a mukbang is?
Sounds like mud wrestling sex.
No, a mukbang. These are hugely popular on YouTube. You get an enormous amount of food. I mean, enormous. And you spread it all out in front of you. And you just talk while you're stuffing your face.
Well, that's just what we do normally, except
But
we
no,
have
but
to
I
wait for Wayne
mean,
to bring the food.
I mean enormous. Look up, and the way you spell it is MUKBANG. Look up mukbangs on YouTube. There are people who do true crime mukbangs, which to me is kind of like perverted. You're like talking about people getting, hacked up and putting wood chippers and shit, and they're just... We need to do Robert's Rules of Order mukbang. I swear that's never been done before.
Well, destroy my diet,
Oh,
even though it's already destroyed.
which of these subsidiary motions has no corresponding incidental main motion? Now remember, I want to remind you, we're going to go blast to the past where you and I both fucked it up. We said that a motion to amend, you might remember, JJ caught us on this, that a motion to amend could never be a main motion. Remember?
Yeah. It's been a while, but yeah.
And he showed we were wrong. A motion to amend can be a main motion.
Yeah. So what's our question?
But you remember,
Vaguely.
when can a motion to amend be a main motion?
I know we discussed it, but I forget exactly what the answer is for that.
A motion to amend something previously adopted.
Oh, that's right.
That was such a tricky question, wasn't it?
It is because in a lot of ways they're totally different motions from each other.
But they are a motion to amend, and you and I do those all the time with bylaws and platform. Those are main motions. It is a motion.
We'd always treated them as separate from an actual amend something that's pending.
But the fact is, it's a main motion because it can have 2 level of amendments to it. But at convention, it happens all the time that you say, I'm moving to amend the bylaws to X, and then there's a motion to amend, and someone tries to do a motion to amend the amendment, and there's always someone out there that goes, no, you're already 2 levels deep, but you're not, because that first motion to amend is the main motion. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up again because that blew my mind.
Yeah. That's why in the report I always say amend something previously adopted.
Yeah.
Make sure it's crystal clear what we're talking about here.
Richard says first page of the tinted pages, but it's not. It's not in the 11th. I'm looking at the first page of the tinted pages in the 11th, and there isn't that chart of ranking. Do you see it?
The first one I see is the order of precedence of motions.
Oh, it's not the first page, it's page 4. That's the page I was looking for. It's page 4. It's not the first page, it's page 4.
Yeah, because page 1 is the table is the table of contents for the tint.
Yeah, it is a bring back motion because a motion to amend something previously adopted is a bring back motion.
Yep.
But that's not a secondary motion.
That's an incidental main.
We need to do mukbangs. We do. We need to order like you got to watch some mukbangs. You don't know how much food they eat. But like, it's a lot. It's a lot. We would have a lot of fun with that. But we have to get super high first. Is weed legal in Alabama?
Only in certain areas of certain types of medical only, and there's an ongoing fight to try to get it recreationally legalized, which has got huge opposition throughout the entire state.
So you'd get in trouble if you were on video being like super high and eating a bunch of food.
I can't do that anyway. I'd lose my job over that.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Well, I can be super high.
That's because you're employed.
Because I can only eat a lot when I'm super high. When I'm super high, the dogs hide.
No,
because I'm like, that beagle looks delicious.
How is Skippy and Xena doing anyway?
Okay, I'm eating right now, but Xena's got the problem out the back end again.
Oh, fun.
Okay. So which of these subsidiary emotions has no corresponding incidental main motion?
Okay.
A, commit or refer. B, limit or extend limits of debate. C, previous question. D, postpone indefinitely.
Okay, which one of these does or does not?
Does not.
Does not have a corresponding incidental main. Give me the choices again. After you finish chewing.
Commit or refer.
Okay.
Limit or extend limits of debate.
Okay.
Previous question or postpone indefinitely. This is really good.
Oh, shoot. I'm trying to picture my chart in my head here. I think it's postponed indefinitely because that has to apply to a pending question.
I think it's C, previous question. So you think it's D, and I think it's C. Let's see.
So watch, it'll be A or B.
I know, that'd be funny. So it's number 14, and it's C, previous question. Because how can, and let's talk this through. You thought it was postponed indefinitely.
Yeah, how can you have that be an incidental main motion?
Well, let's look. Well, I can't answer that. But what I can answer is that it's impossible to have previous question when there's no pending question. So the previous question can never be a main motion. So I don't know how to answer D for you. We're going to look it up. But I know that C absolutely has to be right because it's impossible to call previous question unless there's a pending question. Previous question can never be a main motion. But let's look at the answer.
I can buy that.
But let's look at 66, pages 18 through 22.
Hang on.
JJ says there's a difference. What in the 12th edition? Explain. JJ, explain what you mean in the 12th edition. You might be right about postpone indefinitely, Mike. JJ said it changed. What's the change about postpone indefinitely in the 12th? Because that could be our confusion with the postpone indefinitely. So 66 lines 11 through 12.
Yeah.
I have to put on my glasses.
Yeah. From these rules, it follows that the motion to limit or extend limits of debate can be applied to any of the 4 subsidiary motions of lower rank, but not to the 2 of rank above it, while the previous question can be applied to any of the 5 subsidiary motions that rank below it.
Yeah, that made no sense. What I said made much more sense.
That's just ranking, yes. However, the next paragraph. Incidental main motions and corresponding to subsidiary motions.
Mm-hmm.
For each of the first 5 subsidiary motions, that is, for all except previous question and lay on the table, there is a corresponding incidental main motion, page 101, with the same name that can be made when no other question is pending.
Okay, that makes sense. That's what I said. That's the part I said, and that makes sense. Okay. I'm so hungry.
JJ says, in the 11th, you could adopt a main motion to postpone indefinitely. You cannot in the 12th.
I don't understand what... Did that make sense to you? I thought we were talking about actually. Whether it was debatable.
No, it was whether there was a corresponding subsidiary the subsidiary had a corresponding incidental main.
Okay. No. It was which of the 4 lowest ranking subsidiary motions may be undebatable.
No, that was the previous question, not the current one we're working on.
Right.
No, we're talking about the next question.
Right. Exactly. The only time we mentioned postpone indefinitely was on the question we just did, number 13, which was which of the 4 lowest ranking subsidiary motions may be undebatable.
No, that wasn't the question. The question was which of the subsidiaries have secondaries have a corresponding incidental.
Oh, okay.
I think you're looking at the wrong question.
Okay, I get you. So that's what. So we're both right. I'm right in the 11th strictly, and you're right,
I'm right
in the 12th. I'm still right in the 12th.
Yeah. So 6, 9, and the 6, 9, and the 12th. Okay, says JJ. Yeah.
So just going by the 11th, if we were on the 11th, only I would be right. On the 12th, we're both right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm
How
gonna
we're
take
score
that. I'm gonna take that. No, I'm gonna add it to the right column for you because you're gonna get tested on the 12th. You're not gonna get tested on the 11th.
Right.
There were some changes. Why did they change that? I wonder.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the differences here. I got both versions in front of me here. Let me find this. Incidental main motions corresponding to. Yeah, here it is. Let's see. For each of the subsidiary motions. Yeah, they reworded the section to list them specifically in 12. And they list specifically amend, commit, postpone definitely, and limit or extend limits of debate. And then for the previous, for 11, they said for each of the 5 subsidiary motions, that is for all except previous question to land the table. So they switched from an exclusionary statement in 11 to the inclusive in 12. And then
I wonder why.
So
JJ says he doesn't know.
Yeah.
I got Hahnemann to admit something was super, super confusing in the 12th, and we'll see if it gets amended in the 13th. I don't know if JJ remembers that conversation, but it had to do with previous notice and bylaws amendments. There is just something super, super confusing in the 12th.
I should try to confusing in the 12th.
I should try to find this thread for you, because Hahnemann finally just said, you know, you're right, like, taking it in the totality, like, of the book, he didn't think it was confusing, but he's like, if someone just went to look that up on its own, even with the surrounding paragraphs, it was super confusing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm done with my burger, but I'm still hungry.
Even Richard Brown says he wasn't aware of that change.
Yeah. But it kind of makes sense. Like, when would you do a motion? So can a motion to postpone definitely can a motion to postpone definitely be an incidental main motion?
Yes, but I'm trying to figure out under what circumstances you would do that.
But is it a motion to postpone definitely? Or would you have to wait till the thing you wanted to postpone definitely, that motion had been made?
According to 12, it does have a corresponding incidental main motion.
Then
So
why wouldn't
the question
indefinitely?
becomes, well, see, that's the question. Why? What would be an incidental main motion to postpone something definitely if there's not a pending question? That's what I don't understand.
Well, when you're trying to move past things on an agenda, I mean, you could just keep laying them on the table. But what if you just wanted to get past one and move it to later in the agenda? So say you got to regional reports, whatever, and the next thing up was the report of the Convention Oversight Committee.
Oh, here we go.
Excuse me. You could do a motion to postpone the report of the Convention Oversight Committee to be happen whenever.
Yeah, 14.3. When a motion proposes to postpone a matter that is not pending, for example, the hearing of a committee's report, what you just said, which a motion is not a subsidiary motion to postpone, was an incidental main motion. If the effect would be to change an action already taken by the Assembly, as for example, to postpone for 3 weeks the dinner scheduled for October 15th, such a motion, a particular case of the motion to amend something previously adopted.
But why couldn't a motion to postpone indefinitely be used the same way?
I don't think so. Because postpone indefinitely has to apply to an pending motion. And in that case, I don't think there is one.
Yeah, but JJ said you can do that in the 12th. He said 6-9.
No, you can't.
No, in the 11th you could. In the 11th you could, you can't in the 12th. But why not? If you can do it to a motion...
I think they might have missed it in the 11th and fixed it in the 12th because to postpone indefinitely, don't you need a pending main motion? Or a pending motion anyway?
But why don't you need one for definitely then? What's the difference?
Because if you were trying to postpone indefinitely something that was on the orders or the special orders or general orders, that would be the same as striking it from the agenda, which is a totally different motion.
So, you could do that before it's pending.
Yeah, but that's not postponed indefinitely. That's moved to strike from the agenda or from or to suspend the rules to remove from the agenda or from the order of business. It's not a postponed indefinitely.
So are you saying it's a vote threshold thing? What's the vote threshold for a motion to postpone indefinitely?
Postpone indefinitely motion is a majority.
And you're saying to strike from the agenda.
What's the other one? Suspended be a 2/3, obviously, to amend an agenda.
So it could be a vote threshold thing?
It very well could be.
So JJ said he thinks that it can't be an incidental main motion because it has the effect of killing consideration of the subject. But to me, that doesn't answer the question whether you do it before the motion is made or after the motion is made, it still has the same effect. So why can there not be in the 12th a corresponding... I might ask the authorship team this. I could just imagine the conspiracy theories that are going to come off of this. The fanfic is going to be sexy as fuck when I ask the question why you can't have a corresponding incidental main motion to postpone indefinitely. Let's come up with the sexy fanfic. So what are you and I going to do with this? Like, what kind of dirty business are we going to get into?
Well, the way to avoid the controversy is to say, why did this change from 11 to 12? But
that won't matter. That will just make it like a love triangle. It will make it even steamier.
I'm not sure, actually, but,
I think I'm going to ask that question.
Yeah, there's reasoning missing here, and we're wondering what the hell it is.
Okay, I want to... Hold on. I'm going to screenshot this so that I don't forget. I'm screenshotting what JJ said. And hold on, why didn't my screenshot thing work? So I'm going to ask this in the Roberts forum. And I really, though, would like some prediction on fanfic. I want to tell you some fantastic fanfic right now. I'm not going to mention any names. But there's some certain fanfic going on Twitter of this conspiracy that I had... What? No, I'm not going to mention names. No, I'm not. It's better without names. Because hopefully this person will watch and feel like the complete jerk that they are. And you wouldn't know who it was anyway. No, this is like an obscure... This is really an obscure one that you wouldn't know. So apparently, the new fanfic is, I have time to gallivant off to West Virginia to be on the Tim Pool show, where I don't have time to start motions for certain ballot access encumbrances. But here's the plot twist. There's been no motions made for these ballot access encumbrances.
You can't start a ballot for a motion that's not been made.
But this is going around Twitter. This is the big conspiracy.
You need A to do B.
This is the big conspiracy, that I'm spending time gallivanting to West Virginia rather than starting ballots on motions that haven't been made. Can anyone say batshit crazy?
I would call it oblivious to the point of being clueless. It's like,
that,
really, guys?
That is so insane. Now, but let's pretend that a motion was made.
Okay.
And I didn't start the ballot. Why isn't anyone else on the LNC saying, look, the policy manual says that the secretary or the chair, in case you have a wayward secretary who just like disappears, that the secretary or the chair must start an email ballot within 2 days of it being fully sponsored. So if this is true, that I'm just gallivanting all over the place without starting ballots on non-existent motions, but let's pretend there was a motion made. Why hasn't anyone brought it up? See, JJ thought that was pretty funny. I'm going to now just start ballots on anything. What do you want me to, like, let's just make shit up. I'm just going to start ballots. Random ballots. Just on anything. No motions were made. Who cares? Apparently, I'm just supposed to start ballots.
I'll do a random ballot regarding your seating position on your flights to back and forth from West Virginia.
It's like, this is why, you know...
And make it a fill in the blanks.
Yes. I've gotten, and a lot of my friends have noticed, this term, so chill. Like, I think you've even noticed it, like, with this, we're not going to talk about the specifics because you can't, this, like, JC appeal thing. Yeah. I've just been like, okay, we'll respond. There's nothing to freak out about. We'll respond. I'm confident, but you want to know what? I was pretty confident that my suspension would be overturned too, and we saw how that worked out. But okay, it's not the fucking end of the world. Like, the people who, and I used to be this way, and you know I used to be this way, which is why I think you joked with me a long time ago. This was before Game of Thrones, but if it was after Game of Thrones, you would have said, oh, my sweet summer child, this party is going to chew you up and spit you out. I'm just not like that anymore.
Before Game of Thrones, and I warned you about that.
But I lasted a lot longer than you thought I would. And now I'm at the point that I'm just like, you know, I'm not a stoic. I don't believe in stoic philosophy, but I'm like, party shit now, I'm pretty stoic. I'm just like, I think I'm right. I'll argue the best I can, and whatever the outcome is, the outcome is. None of us are going to die. And 5 years from now, no one's going to give a shit. I said that, though, even with my suspension, when people are like, no, people are going to be to Reno and they're going to be so upset. Now, there were some people who were really upset. But remember what I said to you? Reno, I was suspended in September. Reno was in May. I go, that's 8 months. That's 30 LP controversies later. You know? Like, we have a new drama a week, baby doll. Like, the lifespan of an LP controversy, like already Colorado not putting Chase on the ballot, that's already old news. That is already old news.
Yeah.
Me
There's been some
being
planning by New Hampshire saying they will in spite of themselves, and who knows what the hell's going to happen with Oklahoma, you know?
What's going on with Oklahoma? That's a new one. Tell me the tea.
The tea leaf that I heard was that they were in debate about whether they were going to put him on the ballot or not. But I think
that I think is Oklahoma was very, very pro our ticket, so I don't think that's a true one. I think you're actually confusing that with another state that I'm not going to name, or whoever you heard it from is confusing it with another state I'm not going to name, and that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. People are just freaking out. Like, touch grass. Like, Angela really did have a word of wisdom, which was touch grass. I'm very disappointed though, Angela, if you're watching this. You promised me that you were going to have delivered in a pallet of sod to the last convention, because I think that would have helped with some of these people, particularly Art DiBianca from Texas, who became the Aaron Star of the convention, who just couldn't stay off the fucking microphone. I think we needed to put
that on the. Do I need to put that on the teller supply list? A pallet of sod.
Yes, I think in front of microphone 1, there needed to be a pallet of sod, and the next time Art DiBianca went up there, the chair should have said, "Mr. DiBianca, I'm going to take a bit of chair's privilege here and ask you to please just bend down and touch the grass a moment and consider, do you really want to do this spastic motion that I know you're about to make? If you still do, after you've touched the grass, I will entertain it." And I think that would have solved a lot of problems.
If someone will object to it because you can't smoke it.
Well, listen, smoking grass might have helped too, but touching grass definitely would have helped, I think. Just saying.
No.
Just saying.
How many questions have we gone through?
Not that many. Well, actually, but we were going to discuss them. We've gone through. Let me 14.
Okay, because we're 2 hours. So.
Yeah, but we had a lot of discussion, and I think a lot of people got a lot out of it. Let's see if on comments, let's give a few minutes for comments. We will take helpful suggestions. Remember, this is mostly to prepare Mike for his RP exam. I could tell you what's in the future for me is I want to do PRP, but JJ won't help me because he's being a big meanie. And he just likes to insult me all the time. So my next thing is to do the PRP.
I thought you were looking at the CP with the other guys.
Well, I want to do PRP first. And I still don't understand. I asked JJ, I'm like, what do you need to do to prepare? So this is what I'm getting out of, now we're just going to pick on JJ because he's not on a mic. So, you know, the way he picks on me and makes me cry. We're just going to pick on JJ right now. So what JJ has told me is you need a lot of presiding experience. And JJ's already told me he hates my minutes and he thinks they suck. So he does like to insult me. Well, let's put this up there. JJ, am I lying? Am I lying when you said you hate my minutes and you think they suck? He does like to insult me. We're in a sadomasochistic relationship.
Which is which?
No, JJ's definitely the sadist. And I take it. So I'm definitely the masochist in this situation. So we're in a parliamentary, like, BDSM relationship, JJ and I.
What did the sadist parliamentarian say to the masochist parliamentarian?
I'm not going to entertain your point of order.
It's out of order. Yeah.
The chair is not going to entertain your point of order, Mr. Sarwark. Microphone 1. Now, JJ thinks my minutes are too long.
You can make parliamentary jokes.
JJ thinks my minutes are too long, but he has also conceded that they are the proper length considering the LNC special rules of order. Admit it.
You got to figure the context.
Admit it, because our special rules of order require... I've written an opinion. JJ said you... listen, so let's talk about the PRP, because you're going to want your PRP after you get your RP. You said I have to write an opinion. I have written an opinion. I've officially written an opinion for California.
I've actually talked with JJ and Sylvia about this at convention a little bit. So
What, my parliamentarian opinion for California?
no, what it takes for a PRP.
Okay, JJ does admit that my minutes are in compliance with the LNC special rules of order. So it's not that you hate my minutes, you hate the LNC special rules of order. Let's be specific now. I happen to like the special rules of order, and from what I understand, Mike likes the special rules of order as well. Let me give you an example why. Remember, what was the question you got wrong on the NAP exam?
Me? I mean, on the questions we just went through, or the exam
No,
itself?
I'm just becoming a member of NAP.
I don't remember, to be honest.
I remember. It was, can you amend a motion to mean the exact opposite of what it originally meant?
Oh, yeah, that thing, yeah. Which is actually a true statement, even though it sounds weird.
Right. And the LNC special rules of order. So, under the standard minutes in Roberts, let's say you moved to censor me, you bastard. That you moved to censor me. Someone else could move to strike the word censure and insert the word commend, thereby making the motion the exact opposite of what you meant. Under Roberts, you would still be listed as the maker of the motion as amended. And it wouldn't list how it got amended. And it would look like, even though you hated my guts because you were being a big jerk, that you commended me.
And
So
there's also a case here where, and this is something that Roberts doesn't realize, is that if you amend something, a motion to do something that has the effect of the opposite, where you actually wind up not doing anything, that puts that amended motion out of order in the first place, because you can't make a motion to not do anything. And that's a different part of Roberts that mentions
that's
that.
different. That's different. So our LNC rules, say that all of the amendments to a motion need to be listed out, so that any member who reads it, and I get what JJ's saying where he thinks they're too long, but in a political body, I think political bodies are different. Members need to see the amendment process all the way down, or they really do not know how to judge their elected representative. So I like our LNC special rules of order.
That's what we do with the platform committee. So.
Yeah. But under Roberts, that's wrong. Under Roberts, that's way too long. Under Roberts, a whole weekend LNC meeting should probably be 10 pages max, rather than the 40 pages that they are now. But I also put in a lot of fancy shit like headings and tables and whatever. Anyway, my minutes are...
You try to provide context and readability.
So JJ is wrong. Can we make a motion? It's two of us, right? We have a quorum. Can we make a motion to censure JJ? You're not going to move to amend it to commend him, are you?
I'm not going to second that motion.
It's a small committee. It doesn't require... Small board rules, baby.
In case I vote no. And the motion dies because it's a tie.
Yeah. Yeah,
Caryn.
it ties. It ties, so it dies.
Yep.
Okay,
Richard
I want to
says, Caryn, please stop calling the nap as a take a nap. Well, that's what laying on the table's about, taking a nap.
I call it that on purpose. I call it that because I know they don't like being called that.
Besides,
I do it on
does that
purpose.
so
I'm
that
not a
makes one of
self-respect.
so that makes one of these a nappy.
Richard, I'm not a self-respecting parliamentarian. Ask the guy in Arizona who like freaked the fuck out the minute he saw me in my pink suit and my Liberty cap when he looked like a funeral director.
If we were self-respecting, we wouldn't be here. There's a reason we're the heretics. It's because
look,
we don't trust the funeral directors.
I am putting this on the screen. Richard Brown, my minutes are good, and they do follow the LNC Special Rules of Order. See, JJ, you're wrong. Take that. Take that. Okay, but there was something else I was going to say, and I forgot what it was now. I don't remember. My DC minutes are not going to be good. I'm just telling you right now, my DC minutes are going to be the worst set of minutes I've ever produced because that convention, somebody said on Twitter that having to do the minutes for the DC convention it is a violation of the Geneva Convention. And I agree.
What was going on there? Well, considering the acoustics were terrible, and B, all the inability of the delegates to quit getting in their own way and not having a damn clue what they were doing parliamentary-wise on the floor, yeah, I can understand why they're a nightmare.
That isn't it. Did you ever see that screenshot of that person who was purposely telling people to lie and screw up the convention?
I did.
That is why the convention was a cluster. Is because there was someone whipping people to commit fraud. And you want to know who kept emailing me like motions that were allegedly made? It was all that same person.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We both know who that person is, and that person.
Yeah, I'm not mentioning names anymore. I don't care. Yeah. I mean, I care, but whatever. But crap, there was something else I wanted to mention to you, and I don't remember what it was. Well, crap.
Rock. Are there complicated formalities of parliamentary procedure in your cult? No, not really. Just Roberts themselves.
Yeah, there are rituals. We definitely have rituals. Wait, what? Yes. I forgot our sign. What was our sign? It was. Yes, that's the sign of Roberts. Okay, that will be it. Are we meeting? Wait, what is next Sunday?
Next Sunday is the 23rd.
Are we meeting? 7?
Is there an LNC?
No. LNC is for Sunday in July.
Then we are. Okay,
perfect. All right, that is going to be it for this evening.
We will pick up where we left off. Same bat time, same bat channel.
and everyone listening, I know this is really, really obscure, but actually with having it on my Twitter, believe it or not, Mike, we have 277 watchers.
Yeah, I see that up in the corner.
Okay,
there.
Yeah. If you're on Twitter, please just go over to YouTube and subscribe. YouTube.com/Cult of RONR. No spaces, I'm pretty sure. Or you could do a search for it. The minute we hit 1,000 subscribers, we get to get super chats. And that's the reason why we used to dual stream on Pink Flame of Liberty, is because we'd get super chats and buy pizza and beer and stuff like that, because we're just having a good time. So I'd really appreciate it if everyone who's watching on Twitter just go subscribe. You never have to watch it on YouTube if you don't want to, but give us a subscribe and help us out. All right, we are going to sayonara for the evening, and maybe I'll see you guys on Monday if I have time. I've got a JC thing for Colorado on Monday, but I want to deal with Tim Pool calling me a communist. Did you see that, Mike?
Yeah, I saw that.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
he can be bombastic at times. So,
Yeah, but I took
and
it
again,
fine. Like,
keep in mind, there was also people in the convention chat who were calling me your boyfriend. So it's like, really?
you're
No,
not?
that got shot down by. Well, that got shot down by my wife. So
All right, well, we're going to go. And thank you, Plymouth Rock. And we'll see you all next week for some more parliamentary shenanigans. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed? You say nay. Opposed! Opposed! The motion carries anyway.